Hello and welcome to today's English lesson. So first of all, guys, can we all turn to wave and say a big hello to our friends on camera? Hello. And we'll begin by doing our meditation sequence. So I will sit down, take 2 fingers, find our heart center, left hand on our laps, and close our eyes. And when you're ready, guys, you can open your eyes and come back to the room. Very good. And next we'll do our stretch sequence. So let's stand up and push in our chairs. And we can begin by doing some rotations. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Excellent, guys. And now we'll do some stretches. So let's do 5 stretches to our right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we can do 5 stretches to our left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excellent, guys. And now we can have a shake out. Arms and legs, shake it out. And now let's take our right hand and find our left foot. And then left hand, right foot. Right hand, left foot. Left hand, right foot. Right hand again, finds our left foot. And then left hand, right foot. Excellent, guys. Once more, we can shake it out. Arms and legs, shake it out. And to finish, we will do 5 claps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excellent, guys. Have a seat. So welcome to today's English lesson. And in our previous English lesson, we began learning about a new tense. Can anybody remember the tense that we began learning about in the previous lesson? Past continuous tense is right. Excellent, guys. Very well remembered. So let's write that phrase on the board first. Past, P-A-S-T. So the past refers to something that has happened already. And continuous is spelt C-O-N-T-I-N-U-O-U-S. Past continuous tense. E-N-S-E. Now, tense refers to the time period. So what we're talking about with the past continuous tense is something that was happening at a specific time in the past. So let's say the phrase together again, guys. Past continuous tense. And what we learned how to do in the previous lesson, we learned about positive statements. Things that have happened or things that we did. And these type of statements are known as affirmative. Yes, affirmative means positive, things that we have done. A-F-F-I-R-M-A-T-I-V-E. Affirmative. Yes. Now, who can remember when we were learning how to say affirmative sentences in the past continuous tense, we learned about a structure for the sentences, and we can follow the structure every time so that we can construct the sentence correctly. There was a series of different words that we have to use. Who can remember the first type of word we use in an affirmative sentence? Subject. Yes, the first word we need to refer to is the subject. U-B-J-E-C-T. And then, depending on who the subject is, there are two words, was or were. The subject is the person in the sentence we are referring to. And depending on who the subject is, we either use was or were. Okay, so they're the first two words, always the same structure for affirmative sentences. And then comes verb plus ing. Yes, remember, the continuous tense means we have the verb, and then with the verb words, we add the letters ing. And remember, guys, if the verb word ends with the letter E, what do we do with letter E before? We delete letter E before we add ing, yes. And then the final word that we would use, activity. A-C-T-I-V-I-T-Y. So here we have the structure of an affirmative sentence in the past continuous tense. Subject, was or were, verb, plus ing, and then the activity. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give some of my students a marker pen, and they're going to come forward and demonstrate how to construct and speak an affirmative sentence in the past continuous tense. So let's see who can go first. First, today will be Dan. So Dan, come and join me at the front of class, please. So Dan, you can stand here for me. And what we want Dan to do first is to choose an appropriate subject pronoun. So who will it be about? I. Okay, so Dan is going to be talking about herself using the pronoun I. So what do we use with I? Was or were? I was. Yes, we use I was with the subject pronoun I. Okay, so far so good. I was. And now we need something we were doing plus ing. ing. Okay, so Dan was playing, but what was she playing? B-A-L-L. Perfect. And don't forget your full stop. Okay, so now we've got an affirmative sentence in the past continuous tense. I was playing volleyball. You see, it's always subject, was or were, verb plus ing, and then the activity. Dan, that was brilliant. High five, and a big round of applause for Dan, please, guys. So that was an example of an affirmative sentence using the word was. But what I want one of my students to do now is demonstrate how to use a pronoun and then with the word were. So we can't use I, we need to think of a different type of pronoun. So let's see if Net can come forward and show us how to construct a sentence correctly. Who will your sentence be about, Net? You. Okay, so Y, O, you. So if we use the subject pronoun you, so we say you was. You were. Yes, we need to use you were. W, E, R, E. Okay, now what were you doing? You were drinking. Okay, so next the verb drink plus ing. D-R-I-K. Perfect. And now the final word, the activity. What were we drinking? Could be anything. Milk, water, orange juice. So net water, W-A-T-R. And don't forget your full stop. Perfect. So Net has shown how to construct an affirmative sentence with the word were. Ready, Net? You were drinking water. So all together, guys, you were drinking water. Or I was playing volleyball. Affirmative sentence in the past continuous tense. Net, that was brilliant. High five and a big round of applause for Net, please, guys. So that was very well done. That was a demonstration of how to do the affirmative sentence. But what we're going to do in today's lesson is we're going to move on to look at how to construct negative sentences. So negative sentences are the sentences we use for things that we don't or haven't done. And there's only one or two more words that we need to add. The structure almost stays the same. We just need to introduce another word or two, maybe even a contraction, and then we can change the affirmative sentence into a negative one. So what we've got now is a PowerPoint presentation for our students to observe, listen to, and also practice speaking of negative sentences in the past continuous tense. Okay, guys? So let's all turn to look at the TV screen. So let's take a look at our PowerPoint presentation today. English. Past continuous tense. Negative. Okay, so today the opposite, negative. Past continuous tense describes an action happening at a time in the past. Okay, like we've learned already with our sentence structure, we can talk about actions that were happening at a specific time in the past. We use was or were, and then the continuous form of the verb word. For example, I was going. You were doing. He was seeing. She was playing. It was fighting. You were telling. We were reading. They were eating. Always the same structure. Subject, was or were, the infinitive continuous form of the verb, and then if we want, the activity too. For negative sentences, we place the word not before the verb word. So see, guys, all we need to do is add one extra word. By adding the word not to the sentence, we change it from affirmative to negative. You see, we can say, I was not. You were not. He was not. We were not. You were not. They were not. One extra word. One extra word changes the meaning of the entire sentence from affirmative to negative. But what we can do if we want, we can combine the words into contractions. Was not can be shortened to wasn't. See how we have two words, was not. See how we have two words, was not. And then what we do is we can put the two words together, wasn't. And all we need to do is the letter that we drop, the O, we replace with an apostrophe. So was not, wasn't. And we do exactly the same with the two words, were not. Put them together, and once again, it's the letter O that drops out. So what we do, we replace the letter O with apostrophe. Were not, weren't. Yes. So now let's practice how to say the sentences in the negative form. I was not reading a book. You see, it's gone from affirmative to negative. I was not. You were not going to school. Yes. We were not playing sports. They are reading a book, so they can say, we were not playing sports. They were not eating their lunch. She was not listening to music. So see, guys, the structure always stays the same. But this time, with the negative sentences, we just put the not word before the verb. And that changes it from affirmative to negative. He was not watching a movie. It was not drinking milk. Yes. Paul was not walking to the shop. Because remember, if we know the name of the person, we don't have to refer to them as he or she. We can call them by their names. So if we use the name of the person, we use was afterwards. Understand, guys? Yes. So now let's practice the sentences again, but this time we'll speak the contraction form. Wasn't or weren't. But this time, I wasn't reading a book. You weren't going to school. We weren't playing sports. They weren't eating their lunch. She wasn't listening to music. He wasn't watching a movie. It wasn't drinking milk. So you see, each time we just move the words together to create the contraction. And finally, Paul wasn't walking to the shop. He was riding his bicycle. And this is how we construct and speak negative sentences in the past continuous tense correctly. Any questions, guys? Okay, that was great. Well done. Welcome back to class. We hope your students enjoyed the PowerPoint presentation so that they can begin to learn and understand how to speak negative sentences in the past continuous tense correctly. And coming up, we've got a board exercise for our students to practice forming them and speaking them correctly. But before then, guys, it's time for our stretch sequence. So let's stand up and push in our chairs. And for this sequence, we'll have a game of Teacher Says. So listen carefully. If Teacher says, we can do. If Teacher doesn't say, don't do. Okay? So hands on head. Touch your knees. Teacher says, arms in the air. Teacher says, jogging on the spot. Teacher says, turn around. Teacher says, back the other way. And back the other way. Stop. Teacher says, stop. Teacher says, arms down. Teacher says, step to the left. Teacher says, step to the right. Teacher says, step back. Step forward. Teacher says, step forward. Teacher says, touch your nose. Teacher says, touch your stomach. Teacher says, swap. Swap. Teacher says, arms in the air. Arms down. Very good, guys. Teacher says, arms down. Teacher says, into a ball. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Teacher says, jump. Excellent, guys. And teacher says, please sit down. And now we're going to do a board exercise for our students to practice forming sentences correctly in the past continuous tense. But today, we're not doing affirmative sentences. What are we doing, guys? Negative, okay? So negative, N-E-G-A-T-I-V-E. So remember, negative is for things that we weren't doing or haven't done in the past. And the structure is almost exactly the same. All we need to do is add one extra word. What word do we add for the negative sentences? Not. Correct. So let's see if our students can remember the correct form of structuring the sentence. What's our first word that we need to put, guys? What type of word? The subject. It still remains the subject. The first word is still subject. Okay, so word number 1, subject. Now, depending on the subject, what are the 2 words that we need to choose? There are 2 different words we could use. Was or were. W-A-S or W-E-R-E. Okay. Now, think about the negative sentences you've seen in the PowerPoint presentation. After was or were, for the negative sentence, what word do we use? Not. Okay? That's all we need. One extra word, and that word is not. This word here changes it from the affirmative sentence we know already to the negative ones. Okay? So very important, after was or were, to enter not. Then, what comes after not? The verb. Then we get back to the verb word plus ing. V-E-R-B plus ing. Excellent. And finally, what type of word can we use after the verb? Activity or verb complement to describe the thing we were doing. A-C-T-I-V-I-T-Y. So you see, guys, the structure for a negative sentence is almost exactly the same as the affirmative. All we need to do is enter this word not before the verb. And remember, we can use the contractions too. Was not can be wasn't. Were not can be weren't. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do another board exercise, but this time we want our students to come forward and practice how to construct sentences in the negative past continuous tense. Okay? So let's see who can go first for this exercise. And the first student to go now will be Pak Bung. So Pak Bung, come and join me at the front of class. Pak Bung can create her sentence. What we need first, Pak Bung, what type of word? A subject. So what subject will you use for your sentence? Okay? So Pak Bung has chosen we. Now guys, let's think. If we've got the subject pronoun we was or we were? We were. Excellent. W-E-R-E. And then we know what word comes next for the negative sentences. We were not. Excellent. So what we've got, we were not, or what we could do, we could use the contraction, remember? Weren't. We were not and we weren't is exactly the same. But next we need verb plus ing. So what's your verb word, Pak Bung? Eat. And then ing, eating. E-A-T-I-N-G. Brilliant. And then the activity or the thing that we were eating. What were we not eating? What type of food? Cake? Okay. So we can say cake. Cake is spelled C-A-K-E. And then what comes at the end of the sentence? Okay. Here we go. Pak Bung has created her negative sentence. All we did is enter one extra word. Not. So all together, guys, we were not eating cake. Or if we want to use the contraction, we can say, we weren't eating cake. And this is a negative sentence in the past continuous tense. Pak Bung, that was brilliant. High five and a big round of applause for Pak Bung, please, guys. So teachers, you can see the activity that we're doing in our classroom now. You can pause the video and do the same activity with your own students for the next 10 minutes or so. And remember to choose a different student each time. And we'll carry on playing here now for the next 10 minutes or so. So now it's time for another student to come forward and do their activity. So now it's Pat's turn to show how to form a negative sentence in the past continuous tense. So, okay. So now it's Pat's turn. What's the first word we need, guys? What type of word? A subject. So Pat, can you think of a subject word to use for us? It. Okay, so we're talking about an animal. I-T. If we use the subject pronoun it was. Okay. W-A-S. And then the important word for the negative sentence, not. It was not. Brilliant, Pat. So now, if we want to use the contraction of was not, was, N, apostrophe, T. We could say it wasn't. And next what comes? Verb plus ing. So Pat, what's your verb word that we or it was not doing? Okay, it was not playing. So the verb play, L-A-Y-I-N-G. And then football. So football will come into the activity. F-O-T. B-A-L-L. Excellent. And then at the end of your sentence, what do you need? Full stop. So you see, Pat has now constructed his negative sentence. It was not playing football. Or if we want to use the contraction, it wasn't playing football. Pat, that was brilliant. High five and a big round of applause for Pat, please, guys. Okay, so now let's see who can go next. Who hasn't done one yet? I know. Preo, come and join me at the front of class, please. And we'll ask Preo to construct her negative sentence. So first words again, we need a subject. Can you think of a different subject, Preo? He. Okay, so he were or he was? He was. A-S. And then not. He was not. And if we want to use the contraction of was not, what can we say? Wasn't. Yes. So what's our verb word, Preo? What was he not doing? Go, I-N-G, going. Okay, so he was not going school. Okay, so if we talk about a place, to school. Excellent, with the full stop at the end. So there we have our negative sentence from Preo. He was not going to school. And with the contraction, we would say, he wasn't going to school. Preo, that was brilliant. High five and a big round of applause for Preo, please, guys. So let's do one more together before the worksheet activity. And now it's Bangpon's turn to construct his negative sentence. So far we've got the subject pronouns we, it, he, they. Okay, can you use the pronoun they? E, why? They. So if we use the subject they were. Our next word has to be were. W-E-R-E. They were, and then what word comes? They were not. N-O-T. Or we could use the contraction for were not, weren't. But what were they not doing? What's the verb word, Pangpon? Eat. We've got eat already. Drink. We can use drink. So drinking. D. R. I. N. K. I. N. G. They were not drinking. So what were they not drinking? Milk. M. I. L. K. And then full stop at the end. So we can say together, they were not drinking milk. Or if we use the contraction, they weren't drinking milk. Pangpon, very well done. Big round of applause for Pangpon, please, guys. And now it's time for our worksheet part of the lesson. So teachers, make sure every student in your class gets their own worksheet. Because what we want our students to do today is demonstrate their understanding of the structure of negative sentences. We have the sentences already, but all of the words are jumbled up into the wrong order. Using the structure that we've learned today, we want our students to put them into the correct structure by writing them correctly underneath. And remember, guys, you only need each word once. So give our students around 15 minutes for this activity, and teachers just monitor the class and help your students with anything they need. But what's the first thing to do, guys? Write your names on top. So Pangpon, this one's for you. You're welcome. Prel, for you. You're welcome. Down, here's yours. You're welcome. Chu, for you. You're welcome. Nadia, here's yours. You're welcome. Pat, for you. You're welcome. Pakbum, you're welcome. And Net, for you. You're welcome. So names on top first, guys. And then look at your sentences. They're all negative sentences in the past continuous tense, but they're all in the wrong order. You need to use the knowledge of what you've learned in the previous lesson to turn them into the correct order. So remember, it's subject, was or were, not, verb plus ing, and activity. Always the same structure, but it's the words that are different. So all of the words are already there for you guys. Just need to put them into the correct order. Like the first one, listening was I to not music. So what's the subject pronoun in that sentence? I. And then after I, what will we use? Was. And then what's the verb word? I was not listening to music. I was not listening to music. That's the negative sentence in the past continuous tense. If you need any more help, guys, let me know. So you were not playing. Next comes the verb and ing. You were not playing. Well done, Net. And remember, you only need each word once. So then you can cross it out once you've used it. You were not playing with your friends. Remember, guys, it's always subject, was or were, not, verb, ing, activity. If you follow that rule for the negative sentences, you'll always be correct. Listening to music. Perfect. It was not sleeping this afternoon. Okay, so they were not going. The subject pronoun is they, so they were not going. But where were they not going? Welcome back to class. We hope your students enjoyed the worksheet activity where they had to look at the jumbled up sentences that are negative in the past continuous And by using each word correctly, following the structure, complete them underneath. My students here have done a great job, and we're going to practice speaking for you now. I was not listening to music. You were not playing with your friends. He was not drinking water. She was not eating her lunch. It was not sleeping this afternoon. They were not going shopping with Mom. And the last one, Tom was not watching the new movie at the cinema. Guys, that was brilliant. Very well done. So you see, by following the same structure every time, we can correctly construct and speak sentences, negative sentences, in the past continuous tense. And that's all we've got time for today. So we'll see you again soon for the next lesson. So can we turn to wave and say goodbye, guys? Bye-bye. See you again soon.